What's up with it, man? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notification so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos and all of my content too as well. Now, Celtics legend Bob Cousy, aka Houdini of the Hardwood, has came out and criticized the Celtics. Amongst he hasn't been the only one. I'll get to Ima Udoka in just a minute or whatever. Um, but he basically stated that the he was very critical of them and said which he has a right to. He said it doesn't look like we're going to be hanging banner 18 anytime soon. Uh, basically stating that the Celtics have not really been they've been really underperforming, and I agree with him. He said, quote, basically, they should be doing a lot better than what they are. He said, and like I said, he did say that it doesn't look like we're going to be hanging banner 18 anytime soon. Um, and he said, I hate to bring it back to a point guard. Uh, you don't have that control when we have a lead of 6 to 8 points. That's that was when I would take it home. I just would not allow us to lose the lead. And then he also continued on. He said they had one in Kyrie, but he was a head case. They said potentially had one in Kimball, although Kimball was a shooting guard more than a point guard. And then he said you need a penetrating guard that uh, a penetrating guard at the point who is a threat and then passes off to Jason or Jalen. Um, and of course he's been critical of Schroeder, and I guess he could look at Schroeder and basically um, be real critical of him. Now, let me stop right there for a second, okay? In terms of Kyrie Irving, um, I disagree with him just a little bit. Like when it comes to Kyrie Irving wasn't as like a head case like they're making it seem or whatever. He just did not. He didn't gel with that team. That's just my personal opinion, okay? But to say that he was a problem, he was a head case and all this other stuff, that that really wasn't the case. Plus he had a couple of injuries, and also Kemba Walker wasn't healthy either or whatever. So for us to sit here and say that you know he he was more of a shooting guard and all this other stuff, you really didn't even get to see his full potential or anything. And that's not to sit here and fully defend the guys or whatever, but I'm just saying that I don't really particularly agree with the Kyrie Irving criticism about him being the head case. Now, what I will say is that you know Bob Cousy is judging it from a standpoint of, and where I'm in line with him from a standpoint of a old school mentality type point guard. You got to think about when you talk about him. You talk about the late Dennis Johnson. You talk about Tiny Archibald. Even guys like that would occasionally run the point. That were seen as mainly just combo guys or whatever. Like a Casey Jones or like a Sam Jones. Every now and again, he's used to a point guard that's going to be a traditional set up the offense, set the table, and only score when needed, not what you see in this generation and everything. And I just think he just is growing frustrated all around with the Celtics. Now, what I was saying about Imu Doka is that he came out basically and was critical of them, saying that they need to play with more toughness and everything, and which I agree. And then also there's been rumblings about whether or not Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum should be fit to play with each other, but Jalen Brown has came out and basically, killed that whole thing by saying, okay, now he still wants to play with his counterpart. Well, y'all are getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, I do agree with Bob Cousy. They should be winning a lot more games. We can't sit up here like as I look at the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors game and stuff like that. Look how the Cavs don't really have anybody on there. You probably recognize them, but you recognize them from not being the main guys on their team, with the exception of Kevin Love or whatnot. Look at that. There's nobody on there that you recognize. You can't say, okay, oh, that's Jalen Brown or that's Jason Tatum or something like that. Either stars or growing into emerging superstars on their team or anything. No, it's just a collective group of individuals that are out there that are young, feisty, athletic, hungry, got a chip on their shoulder, and something to prove. And that's what the Celtics still need. They have to play like. That's what they have to play like. They just have not been getting it done. And look, he, people can say what they want about Houdini. I know what people are gonna try to sit up here and do. They're gonna try to sit up here and discredit this man. Oh, saying, well, you're old and all this other stuff. Yeah, he might be old, but guess what? He was responsible for a lot of those banners that you see um, in that arena. I was getting ready to say the Garden, at one point in time, you know. Uh, you, you know, I'm I'm anxious to see what's really going to take place with the Celtics. You know, uh, I was real critical of Jason Tatum in the beginning. Now, one thing I will give Jason Tatum is that he's calmed down. He was jacking the ball up a lot in the beginning of the season, just being real inconsistent with his shot and just being a shot jacker and being very very inconsistent, and also showing that he was just more of a volume scorer, you know, rather than letting the game come to him. They're they're 19 and 21. You know, um, you know they while their record isn't like like the Pistons or the Magic or nothing like that, but still, I'm pretty sure that Brad Stevens had hopes for them to be a lot higher. Maybe at least in like the top five or so. You know, so you know a lot of what um Houdini had to say, it's a lot of truth to that. But then again, like I said, when it comes to Kyrie, I can't give that whole statement what he said about Kyrie, about that. But that's just what he sees. You know what I'm saying? That's his mentality, and a lot of the old school guys, especially old school point guards, they're not gonna hold back on how they truly feel. And you say what you want. You can sit there and criticize how many teams they had in the league, or how the league was and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? At the same token, hey, he's still a legend. He still brought championships there, and he has a right to say what he says. And he played the hardest position to play and the most demanding position to play on the floor. But the Celtics got to do something. Uh, you know, I'm anxious to see what's going to happen before, you know, the deadline. Are they going to blow this thing up? Are they going to be content with a guy like Schroeder? You know, that's that's my only question. You know, and and another thing is like, okay, you okay, he criticized um the team, right? I I keep saying to myself, why won't they give a guy like Peyton, Peyton Pritchard, just a more relish, a more relish role, or more relish uh oppor- opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, um I don't I think from my understanding, I think he, because I think Peyton Pritchard, okay, no, because I think I want to say he's hurt. Let me see if okay. Um let's see. Let's take a look here. Yeah, because I think he ended up getting hurt um on the second, because he hasn't played in the last couple games. But see, Peyton Pritchard, man, I've always enjoyed watching him play. Now, he he got minutes earlier in the season, especially a little bit before Christmas, and then throughout Christmas, when not his minutes were increased, but he was always around that 13.5 minutes, per game. But I because of his energy, he's a high motor and everything. And to me, Bob Cousy, if you're gonna, hope for a point guard that's more ideal, like how you see it, then Peyton Pritchard is a guy that you really want to look for. Peyton Pritchard, man, he's a high motor guy. He's selfless, and he has that old school type of mentality. And Peyton Pritchard can score too. Oh, I've seen Peyton Pritchard. Of course, we're not gonna get into what he did in the program, damaging in the program, because I don't like bringing that up. But I, I'm thinking, like, when he gets back, I'm thinking he should be in there for Schroeder, because Schroeder, man, he's just not getting it done, man. He's just not getting it done, you know. And I can understand what he's saying, but it's also a collective effort. It can't just be, put on Schroeder. It can't just blame Brown, and you can't blame Tatum. Other guys got to do what they need to do collectively too. And like Udoka says, hey, it's time for y'all to be a little bit more tough. Now, it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna stick with Udoka too as a coach too. You know what I'm saying? Um, but we'll see what happens, man. Still got a little bit of a season to go. Maybe they'll make a push for the play, for at least the play in, or even try to make a push to go ahead and get straight up into the playoffs. Uh, Either way, man, y'all let me know what you think. Do y'all think that the Celtics legend is on cap, or do you think that Houdini got a good point about the Boston Celtics? Leave your comments, like it, share it, subscribe, hit the notification. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at you later.